Alright. Now we're up and running. 680. Hey, what's up, Blackfire? How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Turn the music down a little bit. There we go. I think that's better. Let me know if the music's too loud. I have a different little setup going on here, so if it's too loud for you, just let me know. Good morning, Lasdrin. Just chilling? Yeah, I'm just chilling, man. Getting ready to start my day. Starting my mornings. Gonna play some boot.dev. Good morning, Delusional Dev. Any updates on the budgeting app you... I don't have any updates other than I've just been working on it little bits here and there, and I've been letting it run in production on processing the syncs from Plaid for the last couple months, and that's going well, and I just need to make time to go back and work on it more. But no real updates, nothing significant. Definitely something I'd like to spend more time on. Just haven't lately. Good morning, Rockin' Brain. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. All right. Oh, I set up a coffee camera. Coffee camera, Steven. Coffee camera, Steven. I'm gonna go heat up some water real quick so that I can make the coffees. Now we wait. I might need that again. I'll leave that up. Hey, what's up, filthy potato? Long live Steven. I am back. It's been a minute, but I'm here. I'm here now. All right, data structures and algorithms. Binary, I think we're on the last left in the binary trees. You got jumped / robbed? Are you kidding me? That's, oh, almost, okay, almost. Dude, that's crazy. I mean, you live in a generally, like, pictures that you've sent in the Discord always look like you live in a generally safe part of town. That's crazy, bro. 11th gen. Hello, code guy. What Linux will run smoothly on this potato laptop? 8 gigabytes of RAM, 512 SSD. I honestly don't know. I'd probably just try Omarchi or Ubuntu and see what happens. Doesn't seem like a total potato. i5. I mean, I guess that's a mobile processor, isn't the G7 at the end? That means it's a 2.4 gigahertz. Seems like a good little laptop. Could be worse. Could be worse. Oh, water's done. Water's done. There you go. Lasdrin says Linux will run on anything. Alright, I made it back. Let's see. I'm back now. I'm back now. I was in the coffee. I was in the coffee room. Nah, the coffee room is just my basement. There's like a little dry bar down there where I set up a coffee making station. Huh. Is Seattle nice? Never been. I'd like to go. I've never been to the Pacific Northwest. I'd like to visit sometime. One of these days. How is Steven typing? Oh, with his mind. No, nothing. Nothing that sophisticated. You have a dedicated coffee making room? No, it's not a dedicated coffee making room. It's a basement, but the basement has like a bar area. So I guess if you were like into entertaining people or uh, I don't know what the intention of the bar in the basement was for, but I've just turned it into like another desk slash place to make coffee. A dedicated room for coffee making seems a little like overkill. All right, now we're gonna actually try to do some coding. All right, complete the height method. It returns the height of the tree rooted at the current node. If the node's value is none, return 0. Recursively calculate the height of the left subtree. Recursively calculate the height of the right subtree. Use the max function to return the maximum of the left and right subtree heights plus 1. Okay. So the first thing was if the node's value is none, return 0. So if self.val is none, just return 0. Otherwise, use the left height. Oh, I guess we have to do checks here too. If self.left does not equal none. So I'll do something like this. Height equals 0. Turn height here. Then do height self.left.height if self.right does not equal none, height self.right.height. Oh, actually, these need to be different. These need to, okay. So we do. Hey, what's up? I love melons. You think I'm John Wick? No, no, no. You could install Linux to a toaster. Now that would be some content worth watching. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today we're gonna be installing Linux on a toaster. I bet you could get some people to watch. Okay, run. Alright, what have we done? Height 3, actual height 0. So we're always returning 0. If node's value is none, return 0. Otherwise, huh. It's weird. Oh, +1. Use the max function to return the maximum of the left and right subtree +1. There we go. Oh, I need to claim my chest for the day. Alright, unbalanced trees. BSTs have a problem. While it's true that the average BST has overlog in lookups, deletions, and assertions, that fundamental benefit can break down quickly. If mostly sorted data, or even worse, completely sorted data, is inserted into a binary tree, the tree will be much deeper than it is wide. Yes, this is the unbalanced problem. As you know by now, the big O complexity of tree operations depends entirely on the depth of the tree. Notice that both trees are valid BSTs and both have the same number of nodes. The problem is in the unbalanced tree. There are more levels to traverse, bringing the big O complexity closer to O of n than O of log n. If 100 sorted items are inserted into a BST in order, what will be the big O complexity of lookups? This would be O of n. Assuming the tree remains balanced, will a balanced tree's operations ever degrade past O of log n? No. Keep your trees balanced, people. Keep your trees balanced. That's the takeaway. A red-black tree is a kind of binary search tree that solves the balancing problem. It contains a bit of extra logic to ensure that as nodes are inserted and deleted, the trees remain actively balanced. How it works. Each node in an RB tree stores an extra bit called the color, either red or black. The color ensures that the tree remains approximately balanced during insertions and deletions. When the tree is modified, the new tree is rearranged and repainted to restore the coloring properties that constrain how unbalanced the tree can become in the worst case. Cool. Lots of homeless sleeping in boxes. Oh, that sucks. Joke's on you, I let my trees dry before they grow deep. Yeah, but you could still have a dry, unbalanced tree, man. Yeah, I've heard the homeless problem is particularly bad in Portland too. My brother-in-law, his company that he worked for was headquartered in Portland for the first couple of years that he was there, and he had to go to like sales kickoff meetings, I think, in Portland. He said that it was downtown, it was kind of like that too, which is unfortunate, you know, unfortunate for everybody. Thought I heard a noise behind me. All right, so what are we trying to accomplish here? List of very simple rules. Each node is either red or black. The root is black. All nil leaf nodes are black. If a node is red, then both its children are black. All pass from a single node go through the same number of black nodes to reach each of its descendant nil black nodes. As it turns out, we've been inserting user records into our tree with incrementing numerical IDs. Pre-sorted data. The app's user lookups are starting to get really slow. Let's start implementing a red-black tree to speed things up. In a normal BST, the child nodes don't need to know about or carry a reference to their parent. The same is not true for red-black trees. RB node class is already implemented for you, as well as init. There's also data member, self.nil. Complete the insert method. Should take a value as input and add the value as a new node in the tree if the value doesn't already exist. Okay. Create a new RB node. Okay. Node. New node. The new node shouldn't have a parent yet. The new nodes left and right should be nil. The new node is red. Let's see. Left. Wonder why are they referring to it as nil? Does it have a left and a right? Oh, none. So new node red equals true. So I think that's the only one we need to set. New node red equals true. Oh, this is for the tree. Sorry, I got confused. Okay, so that's for the tree. So left, right, start is none. The value is initialized. The parent set to none. Red is false. So that's only property we need to change. It's true. Cool. Awesome. Bro, you reached a tree this fast? Dang. What, you mean, you think I'm progressing through boot.dev pretty quickly? I don't know why my disconnect reconnect issue pops back up all the time. I gotta fix that somehow. Sup, Ecam? How are you? Or Ecam, did I used to call you Victor? I don't know why that just came to mind. Am I calling you by the wrong name? What's up, man? Good to see you. Find the parent of the new node if there will be one. Okay. Parent equals none. Current equals the root node of the tree, self.root. While current does not equal while current isn't a nil node. How do I check for a new node, a nil node? That's the part that keeps confusing me. All nil leaf nodes are black. Each node is either red, black. The root is black. I guess I'm just going to say it does not equal none. Then set parent to current. If the new node's value is less than the current node's, set current to its own left child. If new node's value is greater, set current to its own right child. If the values are equal, just return because this value is a duplicate. Okay, so you say if new node dot val is less than current dot val, then we're going to set current equal to current dot left. If new node dot val is greater than current dot val, keep forgetting the hyphen. Current equals current dot right. Why doesn't it like this? Okay, so current could be none. Interesting. Why is it? Oh, because it sees the possible assignment there. Huh. Alright, we're just gonna keep going. The difference between tree and red black tree? What do you mean I love melons? Sup, Aeronaut? Good to see you. Yes, you used to call me Victor, bro. Okay, cool. I thought that's what I remembered. Is that what you want to be called, though? Because if you don't want to be called that, I don't have to call you that. Which course am I doing? We are currently on Learn Data Structures and Algorithms. So I guess I'm going to add that check up here. If new node.val equals current.val, then return. If you follow the steps correctly, the parent will be a reference to the node that will become the parent of the new node. insert the new node by setting the parent child. Set the new node's parent to the parent we found. New node dot parent equals parent. If parent is none, we are dealing with a new root. So set the tree's root data member to the new node. Okay. Self.root equals new node. Otherwise, compare the values of the parent and new node and set the parent's left or right child based on the results. Okay, so if left is less than, if parent, if new node dot val is less than parent dot left, then we set parent dot left equal to new node, right? And if new node dot val is greater than parent dot right, set parent dot right Okay, cool, Victor. Well, I'll call you. I'll remember to call you Victor. Okay, submit. I had a feeling that was the case. You reached out to me on LinkedIn? Oh, really? Did I ignore you? I hope I didn't ignore you. I don't have any messages on here. Oh, we connected? Nice. Yeah, I'm always happy to connect with people on LinkedIn. Yeah, it's always good. You post like daily? I try to post regularly. I mean, I try to just, if I have a thought, a thought I feel like is worth sharing, I try to share it. I don't. Okay, we're gonna use some baked salmon. Yo, boots. Throw me some wisdom, bruh. Okay, the while loop condition is current does not equal none, but the tree initializes empty nodes to self.nil and RB node with value equals none, not none. So the loop never terminates when it hits a nil node. What should you be comparing current against to know you've reached the end of the tree? Oh, so you're saying when it said up here at the top, when I was confused about while current isn't a nil node, so what that means is it's basically saying that we should be checking against this property. Okay. Self.nil. None type has no attribute left. This is accurate. Hey, Kale, what's up, man? Good to see you. How was your day? How was your Tuesday or your Thursday? What I said it was Tuesday. I'm 2 days off. How was your Thursday? Okay, I've got a bunch of possible. I don't know. I'm gonna throw a check in here. I don't know if this is actually right, but if current equals none, then we've got ourselves a problem here, or it feels like we got ourselves a problem here. Okay, what was the other issue Boots talked about? Uh, elif versus if. Inside the loop, you have two separate if statements for less than and greater than. Okay. Then the second if also evaluates. Could that cause an unexpected behavior? Uh-oh. So what you're saying, I should just continue? After the loop, you're comparing node.value against parent.left and parent.right, which are nodes, not against parent.val. Oh, yep, that's correct. I am doing that. Still stuck. I don't want to spend a whole bunch of time stumbling through this. I'm going to use all my banks, salmon. I live in Olathe. Yes, I live in Olathe, Kansas. I usually tell people I live in Kansas City, Kansas, because that's more geographically like most people know Kansas City, the big, that's kind of like the big metropolitan area. Self dot left are set to none, but your while loop stops when current does not equal self dot nil. So when traversal reaches a child, what value does it find? And does the loop ever stop? What should you set new node dot left and new node dot right to when creating a new node? Is that part of the instructions? Oh. See, this was what was confusing, this nil. I did not know that was referring to self.nil. New node dot left. New node dot right equals self.nil. There we go. Okay, I feel like, is there a way you can leave like feedback? That's not really an issue. Would you like to? I don't know. It's not really an issue. That's kind of a bad way to. Maybe I'll just leave a note in my course review. Bro, how is our timeline matching? It's Thursday here too. Well, for a second there, I thought it was Tuesday. How did you go from working as a food scientist to construction management to writing code? So, the food scientist thing was my first. So before I was a food scientist, I ran a small business as a personal trainer, and I also worked as a medical scribe. So that's kind of how I bootstrapped my business by working in the ER as a medical scribe, and then trying to build my personal training business for the first like year or so out of college. And then my wife got pregnant, and we wanted her to stay home with our kid. So at that point, it was kind of like, hey, I need to go like use this degree that I spent all this money for to actually get kind of like a, for lack of a better word, a big boy job, I guess. And my degree was in biochemistry, so I was applying for a lot of scientist positions. And somehow I landed on an advertisement or a listing for a food scientist in a town not too far from the one we lived in. And I applied, and I went for I had an interview with the HR person over the phone, and then I had an in-person interview with the whole team, and it ended up working out, So it was just one of those things that just almost stumbled into it. I never really intended to be necessarily or work in food or be a food scientist. I just wanted a job, and that's where I ended up. Then the move from food scientist to construction management was a very short-lived, short-term change. At the time, or one of my old personal training clients owned a business, the construction management business, the Midland Enterprises, and they were also a vendor for the company where I was a food scientist at. And so he had approached me about a project manager position that he thought I'd be a good fit for. And at the time, I was kind of burnt out with what I was doing as a food scientist. And so I decided to make the change and go over there and work as a project manager, which was funny because I would still go back to, like, we were a vendor of the company I had just left. So I would still go back there and see my coworkers and stuff and had a good relationship and everything. That opportunity was great, but I didn't really care for the work. Or I guess the work was fine. It was more of, it was just a smaller company, and it was kind of go, 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 pretty intense. I was brand new to all of it, had never done anything like it before. And while I did a good job, I just kind of decided that it wasn't the best fit for me. So at that point, I decided, okay, I'm not going to keep doing this. And I started interviewing at other places. And I was actually set to take a job as an insurance salesman. I had interviewed at several different local businesses, and I really liked this insurance agency, particularly the guy who owned it. He was really nice, and really connected with him, and we had some overlapping networks, people that we knew from our past that we shared in common, and kind of had some shared history and stuff. So I was all set to like kind of take a job with this guy. His name was Matthew Mantle, was his name. The Matthew Mantle, I think it was State Farm was the insurance agency. And then right before I took that job, I reached out to my old boss at the where I was a food scientist and just kind of let him know that hey, that the change ended up working out. I was wondering if I could come, if you guys would consider allowing me to come back and kind of pick up where I left off, and that's how I got back in the door at Ajinomoto as a food scientist. And then my transition into tech was just in like 2018 or 2019. I decided that the food scientist thing was just it was just a lot of hours. And I had two little kids, and so I was knew that I wanted to make a change into something that was a little bit more predictable, I guess you would say, in time and schedule and stuff. And so I ended up deciding, okay, I'm gonna try to do something in technology. Um, and I started trying to do some courses related to coding and programming. And then my father-in-law gave me a recommendation to the company I work at now, and I interviewed there as a support analyst. Is what I started at, and got the job, and have been here ever since. I just kind of worked upskilling and acquiring or jumping onto opportunities whenever they present themselves, and that's how I got to where I am here. Long story, I guess. Short story long. I don't know how you want to say it. Yeah, it was a little bit of a. It's a very eclectic background, um, and I imagine I'll probably change careers again at some point. This is working well. The career I have now is working well for me with my kids. But once my kids get grown, my youngest will graduate high school in 2036. So I have about another decade or so. And then once my kids leave the house, I think I'll probably reevaluate what I do for work. Um, yeah, probably reevaluate. Yeah, it's been kind of a weird career journey. Definitely not traditional. Oh, whoops. Red black trees always have worst case O login insertions, lookups, and arrangement. True. Rotations are what actually keep a red-black tree balanced. Every time one branch of the tree starts to get too long, we will rotate those branches to keep the tree shallow. A shallow tree is a healthy tree. A properly ordered tree pre-rotation remains a properly ordered tree post-rotation. Rotations are O of 1 operations. When rotating left, the pivot node's initial parent becomes its left child. The pivot's node old left child becomes its initial parent's new child. Here's the process of a left rotation. Pivot parent, pivot's left child. Old parent. Okay, so what just happened between these two steps? Pivot. So 2 Oh, 2 became left. Okay, 2 became left. 3 gets disconnected. The old left of 3 becomes the new right child, and then 1 becomes the new left. Okay. I gotta run to the restroom real quick. Shoot. Nice, dude. Nice. It's always good to get get work work messages when you're not working. All right, I'll be right back. Not coffee. I just got to go to the restroom. I'll be right back. Oh, I'm back. Okay. I'll walk in here. Hello, Inspire. I've been good, man. I've been good. How about you? Yes, it's been a long time since I've streamed consistently. Probably a month and a half or so. But I've been good. Yeah, life's good. What's MSP? we back regularly, or it's a phase? Yeah, we're gonna be back regularly. I want to finish this boot.dev, so there's quite a bit to go through. So I'm on course 9, and there's 23 courses. My goal is to get to level 100. I don't know if that will take going through the rest of these courses, but that's my main goal is to get to level 100 and become an Archmage. Become Archmage Steven. And we'll see how far we'll get through this. Managed service provider, okay. They handle the work offshore for the company. So MSC is getting shifts because I stole their... You stole their job. Nice. Oh, interesting. Well, yeah, I'm not a big fan of getting after-hour work calls or texts or emails. So I am not envious of you. The Archmage one? Yeah, he has a course on here. He has a the guy who made boot.dev, his name's Lane Wagner. I don't know if you follow him online. He's got a pretty good podcast. It's been dormant for about a year now, but it's called Backend Banter. But he's a pretty good guy. But the Archmage has a course on here. I'm not sure which exactly it is. I think he teaches something about building HTTP server in Go or something like that, I think maybe. They're trying to say I had to disable 2FA for an extended period, but all my requests have been authenticated. The device policies they're talking about, I know don't exist because I've been on the admin. Nice. Nice. Even better when you're being accused of wrongdoing. After-hour work emails, texts, and calls accusing you of doing something wrong. Living the dream. Alright, complete the rotate left method. It takes a single node pivot parent as input and rotates the tree with its pivot node, which is in this case its right child. Okay. So if pivot parent equals self.nil or pivot parent's right child is nil, return. Or pivot parent.right equals self.nil. Then we will return. Okay. Let pivot be pivot parent's right child. So pivot equals pivot parent.right. Set pivot parents, put that up here, pivot pivot.left equals pivot Where do you live in Spire? And what's the temperature? We're having a heat wave where I am. It's been hot it's been hot a lot recently. My June electric bill or my May electric bill was like $330. It's been warm here, man. It's been warm here, not gonna lie. Probably not as warm as it is for you, though, I'm guessing, if you're having trouble focusing. Perks of being Europort. I'm in Kansas City, Kansas. Pivot. If pivot's left child is not nil, set pivot's left dot parent equal to pivot parent. Set pivot's parent to the pivot parent's parent. Pivot dot parent equals pivot parent. The Great European Heat Wave as it's going down in the history books. Not is it really? Is it really a Great European Heat Wave? European Heat Wave. Oh wow, yeah. Punishing heat wave hits Europe. Interesting. Set pivot's parent to pivot parent's parent. If pivot parent is the root, if pivot parent equals self dot root, okay, so we'll say if pivot parent equals root, set the root to pivot. Self dot root equals pivot. Elif pivot parent. If pivot parent equals is its parent's left child? What? So if pivot parents, this is so confusing. If pivot parent is its parent, so pivot parent dot parents dot left, set pivot parent dot left equal to pivot. This is so confusing. This has got to be some of the most confusing. Else if pivot parent equals pivot parent dot right. Otherwise, the pivot parent is its parent's right child. Set pivot parent dot right equal to pivot. Pivot dot left equals pivot parent. Pivot parent equals pivot. Complete the rotate right method with all the directionality inverted. Oh my god. I don't even understand what I wrote up here. I do drink black coffee, yeah, mostly. Occasionally I'll make an iced latte, throw some milk, throw some vanilla syrup in there, feel fancy, but most of the time it's just black coffee. Did you go to any No, I did not go to any WC games. No, I'm not much of a soccer fan. I mean, the World Cup's cool and all, but I'm not much of a soccer guy. Okay, I think I did that. So let me think about what the heck we are doing here. Okay, I'm gonna use some AI here. Can you take a look at my rotate left implementation? First off, does it look right? Second off, could you use some ASCII diagram to show me what each piece of code is doing visually to the tree? I don't really understand, or at least don't have a good mental model of what is happening, so I can't just invert the directionality. I have lots of baked salmon to use. Okay, so the rotate left has one bug. Look at the very last line. This only reassigns the local variable pivot parent. It does not update the actual node's parent. What? Set pivot parents dot parent to be pivot. Okay. Okay, now for the mental model. Let's say you have this tree before a left rotation. So this is our pivot parent. D is the pivot. Pivot parent dot right. Okay. Okay. Here's what each step does. Pivot equals pivot parent dot right. Name the pivot. D is going to rise up. Yes, okay. Pivot parent equals pivot left. So pivot left is C. Okay. D's left child gets handed off to B. Okay, so let's just one by one, let's invert this. So if we're rotating right, we want to check if pivot parent dot left equals self dot nil. Okay, so then what we'd want to do instead here is we'd want to say, okay, pivot is actually going to pivot at, instead of putting pivot at D, we want to put pivot at A. So we'll do pivot parent dot right, and then D's left child gets handed off to B. So instead of the left child, we want the right child. So this would be pivot parent dot left, right? Equals pivot dot right. I think that's correct. Forget rotating them. Hated RB trees in my data structure classes. Yeah, this is complex. This is very in depth. So pivot parent dot right, which is this guy's our pivot. No, it should be pivot parent dot left is our parent. Because we're inverting. So now it becomes A. Then pivot parent never encountered a single use case for them except the theory part of it. Yeah, I said that yesterday or the day before when we were talking about this. In all the time I've been programming in 6 years, I guess. I mean, I know it's not like 2 decades like some people, but like a lot of the problems I guess I encounter and the stuff that I build, I've never I've never needed most of the data structures and algorithms that have been introduced or taught to me. And this is probably the third or fourth data structure and algorithm course that I've taken. Okay. I'm guessing a lot of people don't make it through this course because there's about 100 lessons in this course. I'm guessing a lot of people do not finish it. All right, so we have parent dot left, pivot parent left. Okay. Then if pivot dot right does not equal self dot nil, pivot dot right dot parent equals pivot parent dot parent equals pivot parent dot parent. And then we just need to invert this stuff. So if pivot parent, if pivot parent right left. Wait, that's the same thing. We just need to do pivot right. Woohoo! Yeah, that's tough. I think, honestly, I think this is one where you really, in order to really understand, I think, and grok the algorithm, you basically need your code. You need something like the VS Code, VS Code Visual Debugger. You almost need, you need something like this. Where is it? Yeah, no, that's not it. Visualizer. This one. You almost need something like this, where you can, on the left, have your algorithm that you wrote and the data structure, and then on the right, you actually see the movement of the tree being rotated. Unless, I guess, you're a genius and you can just do this in your head. I probably use more operating system stuff than all the data structures combined. I can believe that. I've never had need for a lot of operating systems knowledge. But again, it's like most of the stuff I build is not super low level, crazy complicated stuff, right? It's web apps, it's CLI, it's forms over data. You know what I mean? Um, I'm guessing a lot of this stuff probably comes in a lot more handy if you're maybe doing more involved type of work. I'll make those trees with some neurons in my brain. Yeah, not me. Not me. I need pictures. Okay, draw me a picture. Let's see. Rotations are only useful if we can use them. When new nodes are inserted into the tree, they can break the red and black properties. We'll fix that by rotating the tree as new nodes are inserted, ensuring the tree remains balanced. When we're done here, we will have a fully functional, albeit insert-only, red-black tree. As you can see, if you look at the bottom of the test suite, we'll be inserting numbers into our tree in order. A normal binary tree would break down into a single unruly tree, but our red-black tree will remain balanced. Okay. In our implementation, we'll perform a normal insert, then call a fix insert method that will recolor and rotate the tree as necessary. This will ensure that the red-black properties are maintained. Okay, complete the insert method to call our balancing code after inserting a new node. Okay, so right here, complete the fix insert method, our balancing method. What? Where's our balancing method? So you're saying we should just call self.fixInsert and pass the new node that, I think is what it's saying. And then complete the fix insert method that maintains red-black properties starting with the newly inserted node as the current node. Okay, so starting with the current, so current node equals new node. Then while current node does not equal self.root and current node. So while the current node is not the root and the current node dot parent, how do I check if it's a red node? Self dot red. I don't know why the IntelliSense isn't working super well. Okay, then we need to do shit. These VSC extensions are going to be the end of me. What are you building the Visual Studio Code extension for? Inspire, just use a scratchpad. Yeah, you can use a scratchpad. But I mean I think this is really cool. This is a really cool extension. Um the guy who built it actually I think used to or was at the time on the VS Code team. Yeah, he still is. He's on the VS Code team. How to stress the C# compiler. I don't know, some people I feel like are just way better programmers than me. And I've just had to make peace with that. No, I meant the visualizer one. Oh, really? I use Vim, by the way. Oh, yeah. Then you probably wouldn't be able to make use of that. But I like NeoVim and VS Code, so I could make use of it. Identify the parent and grandparent nodes of the current node. Okay. So let's do parent equals current node dot parent, and then grandparent equals parent dot parent. If the parent is a right child of the grandparent, if parent equals grandparent dot right, identify the uncle node. Let's see, the uncle node equals grandparent dot left. If the uncle node dot red recolor the uncle and parent to black. So uncle dot red should be false, and parent dot red should be false, and grandparent dot red should be true. Right, so complete the insert, fix, okay, recolor. I think that's how you recolor, right? Yeah, just whether this is true or false. Hey, what's up? Sora, I think that's how you say your name. Sorav. Here after a long time, what's cooking? Yes. Just working on boot.dev. It's been a minute since I've streamed regularly, but I'm here. I'm here. I am taking a trip back home to my hometown to see my family over the weekend, so I won't be here this weekend, but trying to be consistent about waking up every day. Excuse me, waking up every morning and trying to make progress on the boot.dev Archmage road to Archmage. Let's see, else. So if uncle is red, otherwise the uncle is going to be black. If current node equals parent dot left. Ooh, there's so much nesting. Kills me. So if the uncle is black, if the current node is left of the child, move up the tree by making the current node the parent. Current node equals parent. Call the rotate right with the current node as the pivot parent. What do I call rotate right on? Set the parent to be the current node's parent. So parent equals current node dot parent. So what do I do? Call rotate right with the current node as the pivot parent. So I'm guessing I call rotate right. I don't know what I call this on. So I've done that. I'm just gonna make a guess. So if current node is the pivot parent, I guess we'll call parent dot rotate right. It's like a Halloween song. Okay, now we have to do some recoloring. Recolor parent dot red equals false. Brand parent equals dot red equals true. Call the rotate left with the grandparent as the pivot parent. See, I don't know what this in the algorithm instructions, there are statements that say call rotate left. There are statements that say things like call rotate right with current node as the pivot parent. But it is not clear at all to me which node the rotate right should happen on. Can you help unconfuse me? Hey, Swerva. Let's see, nice. Do you write any Rust? I learned Rust at the beginning of this year, and I would really like to try to use Rust for Advent of Code at the end of this year. But I don't write a ton of Rust every day. I'm currently what Rust code am I writing right now? The current Rust code that I've been writing right now is for a CLI for making a it's for a CLI that will be used by an agent skill for a piece of software. But yeah, that's about it. You built a framework called Oxychrome that lets you write browser extensions in Rust with zero handwritten JavaScript. Would love your feedback. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I've never built any browser extensions. I don't know anything about that world. But sounds cool. Yeah. I'm probably not a good target. I'm probably not a good user of it because I'm not a target. I'm not part of your target audience, right? I'm not a browser extension author. Read the instructions carefully. I did, bro. Let's see. The rotation methods are on the tree itself, not on a node. Oh. That clears it up. Okay, recolor the parent red, recolor the grandparent, or color the parent black, recolor the red, call rotate left. I wonder how long or how much work went into figuring this out the first time. Oh wow, my computer just completely lagged out. That was weird. Sorry about that, if you guys heard that. Because this just seems like a very complicated algorithm, very complicated process. I wonder how much work the first guy had to put in to make this work. Call rotate left with the grandparent as the pivot parent. Okay, did that. If the parent is the left, okay, so now we're back here. If parent equals grandparent left, identify the uncle node. Uncle node equals grandparent.right. And then if uncle.red equals false, parent.red equals false, grandparent equals red equals true. Move up the tree by making the current node the grandparent. Current node equals grandparent. Else, if current node equals parent.right, move up the tree by making the current node the parent. Okay, so current node equals parent. Self.rotate left, current node. Set parent to be the current node's parent. So parent equals current node dot parent. Recolor parent.red equals false. Grandparent.red equals true. Then we call rotate, oops, self.rotate right equals grandparent. Then we got to come all the way back out, I think, to the if statement. Right? And we got to say self.root.red equals false. God, that was painful, wasn't it? Yeah, self.root. I was like, what are the odds this actually works? If parent equals grandparent dot right. What line is that on? Line 57. Oh, whoops. My lines are all screwed up. More AI. Throw some AI on it. Okay. Where have I gone wrong? What condition could you add to the while loop to ensure a grandparent exists before you try to access it? Uh, so you could say, and current node dot parent does not equal none. The name uncle is undefined. That is correct. It should be uncle node. Line 61. Okay, full disclosure, most of that code I just wrote, I don't really understand it. And I'm not really sure what it would take for me to understand it, but it would take a lot. It would take quite a bit of time for me to really be able to spit this out verbatim. Like if someone was to, hey, we want you to write the fix insert function for rotating a red black tree. Yeah, I'd be like, nope, I'm good. I'm gonna go interview somewhere else. It's not happening. It's like stereochemistry from organic chem. I'm glad that one's over though. Glad we got through that one. Red black tree rules. Each node is either red or black. The root is black. The rule is sometimes omitted since the root can always be changed from red to black, but not necessarily vice versa. This rule has little effect on analysis. All nil leaf. Hey, what's up, Minister of Defense? Red black trees is a pretty advanced data structure with complex rotations via insert. Yeah, definitely, 100%. Yeah, that statement you made. Yes, sir. If you wrote your own database, you'd probably need it. Well, hopefully I never decide to go write my own database. I imagine though, I'm just curious. I'm just curious. I've been going through the DSA course on boot.dev. We just finished up the lesson on red-black binary trees, specifically insertions with rotations. I could not, off the cusp, implement that after having been walked through it. I gotta imagine the dude who figured that out, it took him a while to build a good mental model. Who was the person who came up with it, and how much time and energy, I guess energy is probably about, did they invest into this work? You know what I mean? Because it's like, it's kind of unfair to be like, hey, this is how you do this, but the guy who came up with it did his whole body of work was about it. The structure you're studying is the result of an evolution, not a single eureka moment. The original concept was introduced by German computer scientist Rudolf Bayer, 1972. He called them symmetric binary B trees. Bayer was working on database efficiency at the time and wanted a way to keep trees balanced without extreme complexity. A few years later, Leonidas J. Gubis and Robert Sedgwick published a paper titled A Dichromatic Framework for Balanced Trees. They took Bayer's foundational logic and formalized the red-black color convention, creating the standard algorithm we recognize today. They chose the colors red and black simply because those were the colors of the pens they had available to draw the trees on a whiteboard. That's funny. Once you've dealt with AVL trees, B trees, and other balanced trees, this isn't a stretch to solve. Huh. For me it's a stretch. For me it's a stretch, for sure. Hello, Born to Shine. Good to see you. Thanks for being a member, man. I appreciate you. They spent years simplifying these algorithms. No, that's good. I'm good. I'm good. I think I'll be okay without being an expert on how to implement that. Is the tree displayed valid a red-black tree? Okay, so what are the rules? Each node is either red or black. That's true. The root is black. That's true. All nil leaf nodes are black. Yes, that is true. If a node is red, then both its children are black. If a node is red, then both its children are black. That one is false. So rule 4 is broken. To be a valid RB tree, a black node must have red children. To be a valid RB tree, a black node must have red children. I don't know. Is that true? I don't know. I'm guessing here. Alright, hash maps. A hash map or hash table is a data structure that maps keys to values. The lookup, insertion, and deletion operations of a hash map have an average computational cost of 0.1. Assuming you know the key, nothing beats a hash map. A Python dictionary is an example of a hash map. See, you already know what a hash map is. Under the hood. While hash maps are simple to use, you're already proficient with them if you know how to use a Python dictionary. The implementation is a bit trickier. Hash maps are built on top of arrays, or in the case of ours, a Python list. They use a hash function to convert a hashable key into an index in the array. From a high level, all that matters to us is that the hash function takes a key and returns an integer, always returns the same integer for the same key, always returns a valid index in the array, e.g. not negative and not greater than the array size. Gotta blow my nose real quick. Okay. Ideally, the hash function hashes each key to a unique index, but most hash table designs employ an imperfect hash function, which might cause hash collisions where the hash function generates the same index for more than one key. An example of a collision in the above example would be Bob and Leonard both hashing to index 3. Ideally, Leonardo would hash to some other index, like 2. Such collisions are typically accommodated for and are not a problem in practice. Okay?
Like you said, a human being.
Hash maps use what under the hood? Arrays. What is the big O complexity to iterate over all the keys and values in a hash map? That would be... I guess O of n. Oh, because they said lookups. So lookups, insertions, and deletions are O of 1. Hash maps can, in most cases, map blank keys to blank values. In most cases, can map string key to any value. Oh, a hashable. You need a hashable. Better buy some more armor. Give me 10. Give me all the armor. Hey, Elmonian, nice to see you. Let's build a toy hash map in Python. In the real world, you would almost always use the built-in Python dictionary if you need a hash map. However, just using a dictionary doesn't teach us about what's going on under the hood. Okay. As it turns out, the binary search tree was overkill for profile lookups on the locked-in website. We don't need any of the fancy ordered traversals or range queries after all, and because locked-in is such a business failure, we can store every user in memory. No need to save them to the hard drive. Let's build a hash map. We'll use the strings as keys and map them to user objects. Complete the hash map's key to index method. It should take a key, calculate the sum of the Unicode values of all the characters in the string using Python's ORD function, mod the sum by the length of the hash map, which is built on top of a list, to get an index, which should be an int. Return the index. Alright, one thing at a time. Take a string. Yep. Calculate the sum of the Unicode values. Returns the ordinal value of the character. Okay. So we'll say sum equals 0 for C in key sum plus ord C. Then we have to mod the sum by the length of the hash map to return sum mod length of self.hashmap, like that. Cool. It's almost time for the second cup of coffee. Now that we have some building blocks for our hash maps, we need a way to start inserting values. Complete the insert method. Accepts a string key and associated value. Converts the incoming key to the appropriate storage index using your hash function. Create a key value pair as a tuple. Store the tuple at the calculated index in the underlying array. So we say hash equals self.hash. Oh, whoop. Not, is that? No. Index equals self.key to index, taking the key. Entry, I'm going to call this key value. Then we're going to go into self.hashmap, this particular index. We're going to stick the entry there. I got my daily quest chest. What's up, Agent 188? Are you a real human being, or are you like an AI agent? Are you like a bot? Complete the get method. It takes a string, takes a key and a string, returns the value stored at that location. Okay. So we'll say ADX equals self.key to index key. Hey Victor, thanks for stopping back by, man. Good to see you. Again. Good to see you again. Then we will return self.hashmap at IDX. We want the value. All right. Oh, we have to raise it. Okay, so value equals or entry equals self.hashmap IDX. If entry is none, raise exception. Sorry, key not found. I don't know why my last message got removed. How is this website? Is it worth it for GDScript? I don't know if boot.dev goes over anything with GDScript. I'm not sure why your last message didn't come through. This new error ruined my nickname. No, real human here. Yeah, Agent 818. Yeah. I mean, it's a good username, but yeah, now in the world of AI agents, it leads people to be suspicious. This site's great. Boot.dev's a lot of fun. It's if you like kind of like gaming in general and you like programming, it's fun. I'm doing it far more for entertainment value than I am really for educational value at this point, but I would recommend it. It's a little pricey because you can find all the material other places online for free. You can also use their excuse me, you can also use their material for free. You just if you want the gaming aspect of it or the gamification aspect of it, you have to pay. Let's see, hash maps are awesome. They're dead simple to use and have an average computational cost of 0.01. Great. Here has a few big problems, but at least it's valuable for understanding the concept. Some of its big problems are it doesn't resize when it gets too full, doesn't handle collisions, its hash function is simplistic, and doesn't distribute keys evenly. They would collide because they have the same Unicode sum. Which is a major drawback of our hash map as opposed to robust implementations. There we go. It does cover Python. Yeah, that's the first. I think their first the first course is learn to code in Python. I think it doesn't matter. I'm doing the backend developer path, but I don't think it matters which. There's two versions of the path. One you learn TypeScript, the other you learn Go. But I think either, regardless of which of those versions you choose, you have to go through the learn code to Python. I'm not a big fan of Python myself, but that's what they teach, so here we are. I've got 30 more lessons. I really want to get through this. I'm just going to buckle down and try to speed run it. What's up, Justin Technologies? I like the new username. The Archmage trading is going fine. I'm currently suffering my way through data structure in Algorithm Valley. Good morning, Craig. You just woke up at 1 p.m. Did you stay up super late? Or did you just decide you wanted to sleep in half the day? So if length of self.hashmap equals 0, return 1. Okay, for I in I did that. Complete the resize method. Where's the resize method? There. Perks of being unemployed. Nice. You stayed up till 7 a.m. Damn, dude, you pulled an all-nighter. Nothing like a little DSA to get the blood pumping, eh? Yeah, dude, DSA, it's just, I mean, it's good information. It's just so much of it feels so like arbitrary and irrelevant because it's not contextualized, right? Um, and it's interesting. It's always interesting to kind of poke around at the the I guess computer science that underlies a lot of the things you take for granted in your daily life if you're coding and programming, but it's a little bit of a slog for sure. Hello, Network Bib. Good to see you. Hopefully, I'll have a job by the end of the week. Could be an apprentice electrical engineer. Nice, dude. Yeah, dude, I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you. I hope you get it. The bot is kind of spamming. Oh, sorry. I can slow it down. One sec. I can adjust it. iFix. iFix. Let's see. I think that fixed it. Yeah, I imagine DSA courses in college are really difficult. Yeah, I bet that was very difficult to get through. I'm guessing DSA for computer science students is kind of like organic chemistry was in my major. Like it's probably that, or at least organic chemistry for my major was very much the class where you decided if you were going to continue on with the program or not. I'm guessing DSA is like that for a lot of people in computer science. Oh, you're going to open up a quant trading firm? That sounds crazy, dude. That sounds crazy complicated. But also, sounds like you could get rich if you're good at it. I'm doing well, Network Bib. Nice to see you again. Okay, so if length of self dot hash map equals 0, we should return. We did that. Want to buy a lake house in Montana in 20ish years? Well, there you go. You better get that quant. You better get that quant firm running. I don't have any big expensive goals like that. My only expensive goal is just to be financially independent. That's the most expensive goal I have. I don't know. YouTube didn't like what you had to say, Network Bib. Okay, current load equals self dot current load. If current load is less than 0.05, we have plenty of space. I guess that just means we want to return. Otherwise, we need to resize the hash map. Store the current in a temp variable. Temp equals self.hashmap. Create a new empty list that's 10x the size of the current one and assign it to, so we say self.hashmap. How do you, let's see, Python, create list of arbitrary size. So this would be none times, I guess 10 times the length of temp. Then reinsert, okay, so then for entry in temp, do self.hashmap.append entry. I think that's what they wanted. Now update the list, or update the insert method to call resize. Before inserting. So this would be self.resize. One failed, one skipped. Otherwise, we need to resize the hash map. Store the current self.hashmap in a temp variable. Create a new empty list that's 10x the size. Let's see. Let's do length of self.hashmap, length of temp. A little printf debugging here. So my size is wrong, I guess. Expect size 100, actual size is 121. Where have I gone astray? Oh, powerful boots, powerful and wise boots. Quant engineer / dev. Nice, dude. Well, that sounds exciting. Sounds hard too. Every time I say boot.dev, it gets deleted. Probably because it thinks it's a URL, if I had to imagine. Network bib. I don't think YouTube lets you post links. But boot.dev is good. Yeah, I like it. Hello, Fox on Main. First time I've seen you around these parts, I think. The extra element is the clue. Uh, yeah, okay. So I should do, we should do for I range temp, length of temp. And then we should do self.hashmap at I equals temp at I. Right? There we go. There we go. Thank you, Boots. Get rich or die trying. That sums up, I think, all of ours lives. Get rich or die trying. Most people die trying, unfortunately. All right, let's see, it's 7:15. Let's try to really do some work in this next hour. Compute the index for the key in the hash map with self.key to index key. Create an original index variable and assign index to it. Okay. Initialize a Boolean variable first iteration to true. Okay. While begin a while loop that continues as long as the hash map slot at index is occupied and its key doesn't match the key being inserted. Okay, so while self.hashmap at key or at index does not equal none, and self.hashmap at index does not equal value. If this is not the first iteration and the current index equals the original index, where did the original index come from? Compute the index of the key, create, original index equals index. Okay. So then we say if first iterate, if not first iteration, and index equals current or original index. Raise an exception, hash map is full. This means we've traversed the entire hash map without finding an empty slot. So raise exception, hash map is full. Otherwise, index gets incremented by 1. And wrap it around so that the start of the hash map okay, so we have to do index plus 1 modulo the length of the hash map, right? That's how you wrap around. set first operation to false, or first iteration to false. Then insert the key value pair at the found index. So self.hashmap index equals key and value. Did those. All right, now we have to compute the index for the key in the hash map and assign index to it. First iteration equals true. Be in a while loop as long as the hash map slop at index is occupied. So while self.hashmap at that index does not equal none. If the key at the current index matches the key being searched, return the value from the key. Okay, so so I guess current, or actually I'm gonna do this, entry, right? Entry equals this guy. So if key entry key equals entry at position 0, and then entry value equals entry at position 1, so hold on. If the key at the current index matches the key being searched, return the value from the key. If this is not the first iteration, and the current index equals original index, raise an exception, sorry, key not found. This means we've traversed the entire hash map without finding the key. If the key does not match, increment index by 1. Wrap it around to the start of the hash map if necessary. Set first iteration to false after the first iteration. Okay, but entry could be none, right? So we need to add some sort of check there. Let me just add the check here. So if first, if not first iteration, and index equals original index, well then, buddy, we got a problem. We got a problem. Sorry. Your key not found. Now, this up here needs to say something like I guess let's do the early return here. So if entry is not that doesn't work here. So if entry does not equal none, and entry at position 0, which is the key, equals the key we were given, then we can return entry at position 1. Otherwise, we'll raise the exception if necessary. If the key does not match, increment index by 1. So we'll say same operation where we say index is equal to index plus 1 modulo the length of the self.hash map, and then we will return, then we'll set iteration, first iteration equals false. If the while loop completes without finding a match, raise an exception. So raise exception, sorry, key not found. No, it doesn't work. Okay. What's happening? Error. Getting Billy Beats. Sorry, key not found. Hey, what's up, Sukar? Hello, is boot.dev worth it? I'm having a lot of fun. I mean, I think it's one of those things where, like, if you're a brand new learner, if you're brand new, it's definitely worth it. If you're already, like, if you're, like, I've been programming coding for 6 years. So at this point, I don't know if boot.dev is technically, like, worth it, but it's worth it to me because it's adding a lot of entertainment value into my life. You know, I'm getting a lot of enjoyment from it. So I guess in that sense, it's like, I guess it depends, like most things. I tried, it was fun, but asking your opinion. Yeah, I've been having a ton of fun. I'm ready to get out of the DSA course, though. I want to get on to actually, you know, building some stuff, you know, programming. I'm ready to take on the C course. That will be all new to me. So I'm really excited to do that course. And then what's the other one that I probably will enjoy? Probably the PubSub architecture. That'll be a good one. I've never actually taken like a dedicated course on that topic before, so I'm looking forward to that one. You know? But a lot of it's just been, a lot of it so far has been a lot of rehashing things I already had learned or done before. But the gamification aspect of it makes it fun, you know, because you're earning XP, you're leveling up. It was good. Oh. What have I done wrong? Victor, I told you about this when you started streaming. You kind of ignored me. Then I stopped using it back then due to its price, but I got it now on GitHub Education Pack for 3 months free. Nice. Very cool. How do you study? Do you make like notes or just like do the thing and leave it for your brain? Pretty much. Yeah. I don't know what extra value you would get from doing courses like this and taking notes while you're doing it. You know, I'm not sure. Now, if I'm like in college when I was studying, yeah, I definitely took handwritten notes. Actually, I didn't use I switched over to an iPad, so I would just take notes on my iPad. But yeah, for sure, like definitely when I was studying like in college or when I was studying for my personal trainer certifications, yeah, lots of notes. Um, but for this, I don't think that would be particularly useful. So if entry does not equal none, and entry equals key. I guess let's print self.hashmap. Just make sure stuff is actually getting inserted. So it looks like it's never... Is it never getting there? It's empty. Okay. So there's a problem with the insertion logic, because the hash map is just coming up none when we try to retrieve stuff. So why are we just inserting none everywhere? Key value. Is the test giving us none? Yeah, I don't know what I... More AI. More baked salmon. What have I fucked up? What? Look at where you place self.hashmap. It's sitting inside the while loop. Only runs after the first increment of index. That means if there's no collision, the slot is none. While the while loop never runs at all, so the assignment never executes. If there is a collision, the assignment runs to the wrong index. The loop should continue while the slot is occupied and the key doesn't match. What? Did I read the instructions wrong? Begin a while loop that continues as long as the hash map slot at index is occupied and its key doesn't match the key. Oh shit. So this would be key. And then okay, but what was the, so what was the other thing I was talking about? Okay. Thank you, Boots. Hey, Steven. Arvin told me you were live. Oh, nice. Well, hello, Artwork Studios. Nice to see you again. Steven, your chat shows deleted messages on screen too. Oh, really? That's funny. I didn't know that. So if you send a message and then delete it, it shows up. Let me see. I have no idea how I would fix that. That will probably just be how it is. But thank you for letting me know. Let's see. This is a message I want to delete. Do my messages show up? Oh, my messages. Yeah, my messages show up. Remove. Yeah. Yes. Hope you're doing well, Arc Studios. Wait a sec. I thought the horizontal streams were for members. No, that was only when I was doing dual streaming. So for a little bit I tried horizontal stream on YouTube for members with the primary stream being a vertical. Then I just stopped doing that and I only vertical streamed. Then I took a break from streaming for a month and a half, and then when I decided I was going to come back and stream boot.dev, I basically just made the decision that I was tired of working on a working on a small vertical slice of my monitor, and so I'm done. I'm done doing the vertical streaming. The vertical streaming is no more. Yeah, I took a break for a good long while, which was good, but I'm back now. It is on Twitch, so if you want to watch it on Twitch, you're welcome to. It's Twitch stream is here. There you go. But Kick, I probably won't. I don't even know if my bandwidth or my computer can handle another stream. Twitch and YouTube already seem to put it under quite a bit of pressure. So this is good for now. I've never heard about tries, I think. This is a new topic for me. I don't know why, but for some reason stream is lagging very badly on my end. It could be me. It could be me, but if it is me, I have no idea what to do to address it, so I apologize. It will be what it will be. Let's see, in Python, a trie is easily implemented as a nested tree of dictionaries where each key is a character that maps to the next character in a word. Interesting. So H maps to E. E maps to something. I guess L. L maps to L. L maps to O. O maps to star. I wonder what the stars are. The star character paired with true instead of a dictionary is used to indicate the end of a word. A trie is often referred to as a prefix tree because it can be used to efficiently find all the words that start with a given prefix. Oh, it's because we're modeling all of these words. Interesting. Interesting. This is new. I've never seen this before. A trie is also referred to as a prefix tree. Okay, I already read that. Trie building example trie. Try builder. Build a tree. A try. Sorry, I'm guessing that's how you say that, right? You say this like try.
Build a try one character at a time from shared word prefixes.
Build a try one character at a time.
Yeah,
from
try.
shared word prefixes.
Build a try. Also, I gotta find a way to balance the music a little better. It's a little loud for me. You guys let me know if the music sounds a little too loud. Hey, what's up, Bob Knoll? Thanks for being a member, man. After all this time. Appreciate you. Only issue is that Twitch has ads. Twitch does have ads. Twitch does have ads. Let's see. Didn't know that. You can buy a capture card and hook it up to a laptop with OBS and stream to all three from OBS natively. Nice. Yeah, that I know all this is possible. But what I've got going on is plenty enough for me. But Victor, if you would like to stream, I think that sounds like a wonderful idea for you. There was a power cut in my home, but I closed the laptop lid, put it in a bag. I was hearing your sound, then I realized I didn't shut down. Nice. What's a power cut? I love melons. What does that mean? Like you just lost power? Happy that you took a break. Yeah, the break was good. Yeah, I'm sure I'll take another break. Yeah. Like, there's no way I'll probably ever be able to support myself and my family on making content, you know? So I just do this to pass the time. It's also kind of interesting the accountability it brings because if you say, hey, I'm going to stream from this time to this time, it is a way to sort of force yourself to sit down and work on whatever it is you want to work on. And right now, that's completing this boot.dev thing. So it's kind of a nice forcing function for accountability, right? My laptop my laptop gets hot as fuck when I play Minecraft. Power cut is like the government shut down power or you lost power due to some failures. Electricity gone for a few hours. Wow. Where do you live at? I love melons. They just turn off your electricity for hours, huh? That's crazy. I feel bad and also extremely privileged that that does not happen, or at least does not happen yet where I live. Hopefully it never happens. That sucks, dude. We're going to use a try to add prefix searching to locked in. For example, usually when this happens for maintenance, that really sucks, dude. All right, more coffee. More coffee. Now we wait. You never had coffee? What? You've never had coffee? I can't stand the smell. No, bro. That's crazy. Coffee smell is the best smell. That's wild. I just tagged myself in a comment I wrote. Narcissism at its peak. That's hilarious. Uh, I've started today amazingly productive. I'm still in bed. Nice. I love coffee too, Artwork Studio. It's the best. Coffee is the worst smell. Respectfully, a tea drinker. Tea's okay. Tea's okay. Look, now I also have my coffee cam, so now I can see when the water finally boils. We can monitor the water. We need like a little sensor or something on that, on like that would be kind of a fun project. Whenever the water reaches boiling, it like displays a notification on the screen or something to alert me that the water is ready. Yeah, the coffee cam. Yeah, that's my latest addition to the stream setup. It works pretty good. It's I'm using, in order to make the coffee cam happen, I'm using an old Android phone and an application called Droid Cam. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that. It works pretty well. I should try coffee. Would it make me wake up or would I spit it out? You'd probably be more productive, although you'd have to hold your nose while you drink it. You know, you if you don't like the if you don't like the smell of it. All right, I'm gonna go get the coffee. BRB. Yeah, no tea. Well, no tea over there. You know, that's the coffee station. I'm back. Okay. Where there we are. Boot.dev. I do not have a tea station. I don't really make tea. I've drank tea, but and it's fine. Like it's not that I'm like against it, but we do not make tea regularly in our house. Welcome back, Aeronaut. Aeronaut. Yoder. What's that mean? Yoder? What's that? It means fuck in Spanish. That's what it says on SpanishDictionary.com. To have sexual intercourse with. Only my dad drinks coffee. At least I'm not like my brother who doesn't like coffee or tea. Yeah, I'm the only one in my house that drinks coffee. My wife doesn't drink coffee. And really my family, my mom drinks coffee, her husband, my stepdad, he drinks coffee. My sister drinks coffee. My brother doesn't. I don't think my brother drinks coffee really. I think him and his wife drink a lot of energy drinks actually. I think that's where they get their caffeine. My kids don't. My kids aren't old enough, probably. I didn't start drinking coffee till I was like in probably eighth grade or ninth grade, like into middle school. It's a Spanish cuss word. I heard it in Madrid a lot. Nice. Yeah, that's hilarious. I didn't know that was a thing. You're an old man, Steven. I am an old man. I am an old man now. I've got way too many gray hairs in my hair now. I don't know if you probably can't see them on the camera, but man, when I look in the mirror, there's just like all kinds of gray whiskers here and here. And my oldest son's gonna be in fifth grade. That makes me feel really old. It's almost 4th of July. Our tea parties are different in the U.S. We have a different kind of tea party, don't we? Which is funny because I'm pretty sure that's the popularity of coffee in America largely centered around the Tea Party, or I guess it was actually more about the tax on tea. But yeah, it's kind of funny how like a very significant cultural thing here in the United States can kind of be traced back all the way there. You know, otherwise we'd probably be a tea nation if that whole thing hadn't happened. We'd probably all be drinking tea. I've got at least another 20 years until I'm turning gray. Nice. Fifth grade's about how old? Yeah, 10. He'll be 10. He'll be 10 in July. I'm in junior year of high school. I've been drinking coffee with milk. Yeah, I drank coffee all through high school. Yeah. I think I started drinking coffee like probably seventh or eighth grade regularly. Can you guys give me a visa? I would also like to throw some tea. I honestly, unfortunately, I have no hookup. I have no way to help you with the visa situation. Um, but you're always welcome. You're welcome to come over here and help us throw some tea in the harbor. Although apparently a lot of people that I've talked to have said that they've been afraid to travel to the US. Like I know a lot of people decided not to come to the World Cup because they were just kind of concerned with all the immigration stuff that's been going on here in the US. If I'm 14, what grade is that? So 14 would be like freshman year of high school here in the United States. Yeah, 14. We're probably freshman year of high school. In the Netherlands, drinking tea is a saying for politicians getting nowhere. I like that. I like that. Do you like the smell, or did you like it beforehand? No, I've always liked the smell of coffee. Yeah, I've never thought the smell of coffee was off-putting. My mom's always been a big coffee drinker. My dad, growing up, drank coffee. Um, my mom's mom was a big coffee drinker. Yeah, so it's always been part of my life in some way. At least the smell of it, the aroma of it. And of course, an ad comes before I get an answer. Artwork Studios. It would be here. I'll reply there. It would be about freshman year in high school. Sorry about the ads. I wanted to study in the US, but will not until Trump goes away. I'll be applying to bachelor's to Germany or Japan because in Japan, us Indians can apply to government scholarship. Very cool. Yeah, that would be cool to study in Germany or Japan. And I totally understand your hesitancy about studying in the U.S. But I hope things get better. And I mean, the nice thing is like we do have term limits on our presidents, so somebody else will have to be president after Trump. So hopefully that makes for a better climate for you to come. I'm Scottish. We claimed Boston. Yeah, did you see like they were running out of in Boston, there were like bars that were running out of beer basically during that. Uh, I guess the Scottish soccer team was playing there in Boston for the World Cup, which I just think is hilarious. Yeah, and Obama can't serve again either. But it's time for fresh blood. I mean, the in my opinion, the two fundamental things we need in U.S. politics is one, we need the Supreme Court to overturn Citizens United. We need them to overturn that ruling. And then we need to place term limits not only on presidents, but I mean, there's already term limits on presidents, but we need term limits on senators and we need term limits on representatives. And we need to get people who are younger, who are in their 40s, 50s, 30s into political office, people who understand the challenges and the circumstances and the uh, wants and needs of the actual people that make up the kind of the economic engine of the United States, which is that, say like 25 to 55 year, who are in kind of the prime years of like raising families, building careers, acquiring their wealth. Um, those are like I think fundamentally those are the two structural things that we need to fix. Can you guys make presidents take an IQ test first? Reckon that's needed. That would be a good structural a good structural fix as well. So Craig, we did the same in Germany. We just drink a crap ton. That's hilarious, man. That's absolutely hilarious. We end up talking about politics. Well, I mean, it's not really. I mean, it's not really politics in the sense of like I'm taking an issue one way or the other. I'm more of saying I think that we could have a healthier political climate in the U.S. if you fix those two things. Um, yeah, if you didn't have lifelong politicians and you didn't have corporate money in politics. Have you ever messed around with auto hotkeys? What do you mean by that? Auto hotkeys, David? I'm not sure. Also, hello, David. Good to see you. If I missed you coming in, I apologize. Yeah, the CIA can be kind of sketchy. They do important work, but they also have done some sketchy work. I think that's kind of a necessary evil in a lot of ways. You know, the CIA, in order to accomplish their mandate, seems like it's necessary to color outside the lines at times. That would wipe out 50% of candidates. Yeah, I just don't think I just don't think it makes sense to have people who are, if the retirement age in the US is 65 or 67, I don't see how it makes sense to have people who are in their 60s, 70s and 80s making decisions, proposing legislation and voting on things that are going to most directly affect people in the age brackets of 18 to 60, right? It's like those, if you're 60, 65 years old or 70 years old or 75 years old, like you just don't have any context to what those other younger people are going through, what's important to them, the challenges they're facing. Like, sure, you went through it yourself, but like now you're past it. You moved on. Like, you just don't have the same level of empathy or concern or care, in my opinion. And I know that sounds ageist, but like, I mean, I just don't think someone who's 80 years old really gives a fuck about what's going on with a 35-year-old. Like, that's my personal opinion. Stephen, be very careful with that number. All across the world, I think you see that Plato's Republic is still as relevant as it was back then. You are a wise man, Aeronaut. It's a scripting language for Windows built with C++, can make GUIs or create shortcuts, keyboard configs, really anything. No, I have not, David. I've never heard of it. Sounds interesting. Sounds like I could put it to use. I'm actually using a hotkey right now in StreamerBot to switch between my keyboard or my coffee cam and my main camera. So maybe I could use auto hotkey to accomplish the same thing. EBAM Chucks, bro, are you using Claude or vibe coding? I hate vibe coding. I'm not. It's not that I'm not really a hater of vibe coding. If you want to vibe code, that's fine. But I don't personally do it. Like I've used agents, to build stuff, and I've tried, and I don't find it that enjoyable. So I still typically like to write and author code myself. It brings me a lot of enjoyment. I get a lot of fulfillment out of it. But I'm in no way trying to pass judgment on other people who do that. If that's what gets you going and that's what lights you up in the morning, you do you, I had to go and say 6-7. I wasn't even thinking about it. It's very powerful. Okay, well is it on GitHub? Auto hotkeys. Auto hotkeys. Yeah, it looks really cool. I guess it's not on GitHub. Maybe it is. Documentation. I'm just gonna star the repo. There we go. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. Seems like it could be very useful. It's such a TED meme at this point. I think it was a dead meme to begin with, but it made the kids happy, you know. So made the adults very depressed. It Although what's funny is like at my kid's school, it was kind of funny because I think the teachers did sort of have to put a kibosh in it, you know? Like, hey guys. But then the teachers sort of started leaning into it and they sort of started turning it into a game to see how they could sneak the mention of 6-7 into things, you know? And so then it kind of became like a then they sort of kind of started to lean into it and it became this kind of fun jokey thing, um, which I think is a good response, good way to handle it. Edge, really? Brave is better, or if you want vertical tabs, use Arc. So I've never used Arc. I tried Zen Browser for a little bit, and I really liked Zen Browser. And then they pushed an update that fucked up the way tabs worked and Windows worked. So then I switched back to Edge. Um, and I've taken a lot of shit on stream for using Edge, but I like Edge. It works well. All right, I'm gonna try to focus and get a couple more of these lessons done real quick before I have to wrap up for the morning. Okay, loop over for C in Word. If the character is not a key in the current level, add it and create a new nested level for it. Okay, so if not C in self.root current level, then add it. So we'll say current level is C, set that equal to an empty dict. Outside the if statement, update your current level to the nested dictionary for this character. So current level equals current level at C. Once you've ensured all the dictionaries exist, add an entry to the dictionary of the last character in the word with self.in symbol as the key and true as the value. This will indicate that it is a complete word and not just a prefix. Okay, so we gotta be at the last. Okay, so I think what I can do here is I can say current level is equal to word at 1 or -1, and then what did it say? Once you've ensured all the dictionaries exist, add an entry to the dictionary So this is the dictionary, and then I can say star equals true. Okay. Expected. It would be nice if they not only gave me the expected, but gave me the actual. So this should be print current level. Should be the last entry. Okay, so maybe then I just do this. Current level is going to be equals like that. Whoops. There we go. Where am I? I think I'll probably finish data structures and algorithms today off stream, and then maybe tomorrow when we come back we'll build a static site generator. I was really hoping we'd get through DSA this morning, but I talked too much. Hey Tyler fam. Do they ask questions like this in coding interviews? I've not done a ton of interviews. I've probably had 20-ish interviews over the last 6 years for engineering related things. I would say I've been asked leak code questions in maybe 5 of those. Now, granted, I haven't been applying for like big tech jobs and stuff, right? These are just like smaller non-tech companies in most cases that I've interviewed with, or tech adjacent, I guess you would say. A lot of the technical questions that I've been asked when interviewing have either been to do with like very specific like framework questions, like do you know how to do XYZ in Playwright, or do you know how to do this simple thing with this simple piece of technology? Like, how would you look up this particular field in a MongoDB query, right, or things like that. But maybe leak code's more prevalent if you're interviewing with larger companies. Yeah, there may be other people in chat that have way more experience with that sort of thing than I do. What do I think about Roe v. Wade? And bro, what was the Supreme Court ruling you said should be overturned? The Supreme Court ruling I was talking about is called Citizens United. It's basically a Supreme Court ruling, I think it was in 2001, that basically said corporations can make political donations as if they're individuals. Is basically the ruling. I think it was in 01. 2010, sorry. It was 2010 is when that ruling occurred. Basically what they said is that limiting contributions to campaigns by entities was basically like violating the First Amendment of individuals. And so it basically allows corporations to make unlimited amounts of campaign contributions. And if you know anything about big, large companies, they have way more money than small individual citizens. So they tend to, and if you know anything about elections in the US, it requires a shit ton of money to run a campaign currently in the US. And so you're not going to largely get the money you need to run your campaign from individual citizens. You're going to get it from corporate backers who they themselves have their own agenda, right? So it's a problem. Australia scares me. All right, well, I've got to go off to work, but I appreciate you guys hanging out with me this morning. I'm going to keep doing this. I totally understand if this isn't very interesting to you guys. I get it. So if this isn't your cup of tea, no worries. But if you like hanging out and listen to some music and maybe working on your own thing while I hack at this, you're always welcome to come stop by and hang out. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a great rest of your Thursday. And if it's already the end of your Thursday, I hope you have a wonderful Friday. And I'll see you guys next time. See Artworks Studios. See you, Bob Knoll. Thanks for hanging out, man. I appreciate you being a member after all this time. It's very kind of you. See you, Kale. See you, Craig. Bye, Victor. Bye, guys. Have a good day. Bye.